Sally.
I'm Steve.
And we are Random Acts of Rural. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes, we are. And we are all three of those at different times of our lives, for sure. So, and you can find us every Wednesdays, I believe, at 10 o'clock and on valleytv.ca. And, call in your questions, concerns, complaints, or text in or whatever you want to do.
And you can, when you're thinking about us in the middle of the night, you could email us.
Oh, that would be really nice. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. There you go.
Hello at valleytv.ca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello at valleytv.ca. That's actually pretty easy if you know.
Well, yeah.
You just greet somebody, hello at valleytv.ca.
Yeah. And then there's, that 3 o'clock in the morning stuff.
Yeah. Well, both of us have been up at 3 o'clock in the morning many times, especially during the last 3 years.
Yes.
So, waking up for floods and fires, actually, which is not ideal.
So,
okay.
We're going to pull a card. Each of us are going to pull a card.
We're going to pull a card. And because this show is we script it as we go and stuff like that, before we pull the cards, this is important because this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to spin the 45, as is very important. Tom Jones, Green Grass of Home.
I want a new record.
Want a new record? I'll bring a different one now.
Okay.
Okay. Got a little bit of a collection and stuff like that. But you know how you're driving along and a song comes along and you say, geez, I haven't heard that song in a long time, but that's when I was growing up, and that was sort of an anthem.
Yes.
And so one of those anthem songs came on the way to work today here to the studio, and I thought, you know what, I got to make a comment on it. It's going to be short. You can ring the bell on me if I get carried away, but we'll draw the thing, and we'll let people sort of be enticed by who wins the draw, and then I'm going to make my little spiel, and you can ring the bell. But I just got to comment on this because it's just it's not part of the show, but it is now. Okay, you draw first, ladies first. Here we go.
Right. Go deep into the.
Ooh, I can see this card. I'm going to have to shake this up now. Okay, there we go. Because I can see that one card, and I would have drawn it too because that's something I wanted to talk about. Okay, here we go, right into the middle here, and I've got one of my favorite topics. What do you got?
I've got something that happens to politicians a lot.
Okay.
They go along with the project even though they know it's going sideways.
Okay. Well, did I wear those shoes maybe once or twice? Possibly. And I got something that we were just talking about before the show. And it's one word, tourism.
Tourism.
Which is the lifeblood of our corridor, actually,
yes.
or at least a major artery for sure.
I would say. Yeah.
So we're going to do the spin the record. Sally gets the call. I get the spin. There's side A, side B.
I want side B.
And she's going with side B today. I don't know which side it is, but here goes the spin. Is there an illegal spin? Like if it didn't go, can you call me on it? Or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We'll find out.
We'll see. That was a good one. And which side did you call?
B.
Okay, it's A. We're talking tourism.
We're talking tourism.
We're talking tourism.
Okay.
There it is. Tourism goes out of the jar and into the conversation.
All right.
And since that was the one I drew, I'll start us off with tourism. It's tourism is interesting because it goes to I start with the theme of you build the province of British Columbia on pretty much one business model. It's an urban business model. The decisions come out of Victoria and stuff. We got rural people that get in there and try to do their best and stuff like that. But if you look at emergency services, disaster mitigation, healthcare, and you go right on down the line and stuff like that, it's more of an urban business model than a rural business model. I would suggest tourism is at the top of that, where, Destination BC, not to say they don't do their hard work and try to get it right and stuff like that. But, I look at that board, it's a huge board. I've actually put my name forward to be on that board. It's not like it pays anything. It's just, but there's not a rural voice on that board, and they make our decisions in this problem around tourism. They send out the funding to the destination marketing companies like Gold Country, and not directly there though. It goes through the regional ones, which in our case is TODA. So then you've got that sort of channel to get the money right down to theirs. And TODA, what do they get? They get $1.4 million a year about in that ballpark. Gold Country, you and I both being past chairs of Gold Country, no, we get about $33,000. Well, $33,000 doesn't go a long ways when you're talking about the canyon.
Yes. Well, I always disappoint on this one because I think our tourism model is very poor.
Yes.
I worked in the service industry, in restaurants and bars and everything throughout my young life. I got paid minimum wage. I was never, ever sent on a course to learn more about the area that I lived in, and so that I could help people find something that would be fun.
Yes.
Or have knowledge of the area.
Yes.
And we're the front end. We're the gas jockeys and the
The foot
waitresses.
soldiers, really.
We're the foot soldiers.
We are.
And we
Yep.
should have been knowledgeable about where that road goes.
Absolutely. And the messengers of our tourism world are like the gas jockeys, are the store account, are the waitresses that serve you. And the problem being is, you could say there's some blame that the businesses don't get together, maybe a little bit. We've had some business seminars and stuff like that that have been somewhat successful, but mostly not. But the fact of the matter is, like you said, they don't go out there and sort of link things up and stuff like that. Us little rural business people, of which we are one, we do not have time to be going around networking and linking everybody up and stuff like that. But if we had somebody that says, you know what, we just need a little bit of a map and a little bit of a push to know that Graffiti Days is going on there, and as a waiter or a gas jockey or something, it's important to let that person know, that traveler know, that just down the road there's a party happening, or Graffiti Days, or something is going on. There's a farmer's market. It's that simple. It seems simple, but it just doesn't happen. And I don't think you can blame business people. Most of them are business owners putting in a lot of hours and struggling to keep staff.
Well, and I certainly wasn't blaming the business owners.
No, I don't think you were.
I used to get laid off in November every year and hired again before Easter. I was on unemployment insurance, and so was everybody else.
Yeah.
We were all broke. We'd all move into the same house.
Yeah.
Survive the winter and then go back to work.
Yeah. Yep.
Why on earth weren't they educating us at that time instead of just handing us our paltry sum?
That's right. And like you said, they make minimum wage. If you're in the tourism industry, you're not going to make a boatload of money and stuff like that. And there is some very knowledgeable people in the tourism industry that do some wonderful things, but it's a small army to drive a big machine and stuff like that. Because the tourism machine in the canyon and stuff, you start at Hope and come up the canyon. The canyon corridor is just, there's arms going off of it, but mostly it's a corridor and stuff like that. So you would think you could focus on that. And we have had so many tourism meetings, conferences, seminars, and things like that. And you know what? Until you get the implementation, and we do on some things, but it just seems like it's a big piece of the puzzle that's missing. And if you could get that piece of the puzzle in there, guess who benefits? The businesses.
Well, yeah, it would have to be done by government.
Yes.
Because if the businesses,
that's right.
If the businesses did that education every winter, they would be putting out money when they're not making any money.
Yes.
And we just about all of us changed what business here in Cache Creek, whoever called first got you in spring.
That's right.
And so sometimes it was dangerous walking down the road because somebody would yell out from a restaurant and say, "Sally, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I get asked quite often, why don't the businesses get together? Because they can't. They don't have the time to get together. No. They just don't. One time I saw it working really well when Savinaw was having a beach festival. And the people from the beach festival went up to the store up there, and the store up there had sent them down to Spence's Bridge because we had this going on and things like that. And they said, they said to come here and da-da-da. And I made a point of going up there and saying thank you to the gas station and the store in Savinaw because they had sent people that way. That's when it works, but it's sort of up to the incentive. It's got to come from the business owners and the people that are on the front lines, like you said, the foot soldiers, that are doing it, and they got to be aware of the events. But that's sort of a self-guided business model personally, because you can't expect seminars from your business owners to come in and this is what's going on in the area. We've got the Clinton Ball going here, and then we got Desert Days going there, and we got farmers markets over there. That ain't gonna happen. So it's sort of up to and it does happen on a limited basis. I just wish there was that sort of network of communication among our small businesses along the corridor, but it's been a hard road to hoe.
It is tough. In fact, I put out a poster on Facebook in different communities, different pages, about our Canada Day celebration, and I put one on a Clinton site, and I immediately got an answer saying, "Sally, this is a Clinton site." And it's like, yeah, I know, but you might like to know about this.
Yes,
but it was the competition between their Canada Day and our Canada Day. We gotta have them on the same days.
Yeah, sort of, kind of, yeah. It's funny because I had a volunteer society meeting the other night, and same thing within the community. I was thinking of a fundraiser, doing movie nights at the school and stuff like that, and outdoor movie nights and stuff like that. Yeah, but the community club needs a new floor, and we're doing a fundraiser for that, and aren't we competing with our own? This is within Spence's Bridge. Yeah. So you get these voices that say, well, we can't be doing fundraisers when they're doing, and we need a floor really bad, because we literally can't use our community club in Spence's Bridge right now because of the flood, and we got to get the floor replaced because of asbestos issues and stuff. So it is a conundrum, because there's not enough money for fundraisers in a community like Spence's Bridge to do multiple fundraisers kind of thing. So the point well taken, but people jump on social media, and then you're trying to solve a problem, and because certain people jump on social media to create a problem, you get into sort of this social media warfare, and then sort of that takes over the storm. It becomes a storm, and that sort of takes over the message that was originally sent.
In 70 Mile, we have the community hall and the 70 Mile Access Center.
Yeah.
And right now, the community hall needs more money than 70 Mile Access Center does. So we've done some events for them.
Right.
And that just makes sense.
Yep.
Because when we need money, we'll need lots of money.
Yeah, so I would say to the viewers out there, if there's a farmer's market like, Wendy's got going on today in Cache Creek, or Wendy does in the summer in Cache Creek, stop on Saturdays, because that not only supports your local farmers, it supports your local craftsmen, your local entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So we can support small businesses, but we can also support the people that take the time and effort, because it is time and effort to go there and sell their crafts or their fruit and veggies, and we need to support those things like farmers markets.
Yeah, but we're on tourism.
Yeah, we're on tourism.
We're on tourism, and for some people, tourism is coming from another country.
True.
And to the big ski resorts and things like that. And
good point.
So, there are different levels of tourism. If you go to Whistler, it almost sounds like Australia in the streets. I mean, really?
Yeah.
They're on a whole different level from us, but we still have a lot to share.
Yeah, we do. And you probably should have rung the bell on me, because I was getting a little off topic.
You do have a bit of a wander.
But it's random acts of rural. Randomness comes to me quite easily, actually, and actually to you too. But I'm waiting to ring the bell on you, boy. I'm going to jump on that when I can. I'll tell you for sure. But no, it's just sort of getting the news that that Gold Country is sort of not our community DMO, or at least it's not really in an active state right now. Hopefully, because really, that was our tourism vehicle for the canyon.
I think we need to not talk about that until we have more information.
I disagree with the bell ring. So I'm countering your bell ring with a bell ring of my own, but I will hold off on any more conversation about it until we get more information about it and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Well-
it's a scary thing. I just think we need a tourism entity in the Canyon Corridor. Can I say that? Is that
Oh,
okay? Yes,
absolutely.
okay.
We don't know where Gold Country
Yeah,
is right
okay,
now.
okay.
We cannot close the door on them.
No, we can't.
No.
And maybe Triple CTA can connect with Hope or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You never know.
Yeah.
Boundaries change all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Good God.
As well,
Yeah.
I
We're going to get ourselves a new MLA who goes to meetings. Oh, sorry.
We're talking about tourism. What the heck you doing? Okay? Dang it. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I really was. I was thinking the same thing. So anyways, yeah. So, but look at tourists coming. We're going to have a brand new road between Spencer's Bridge. That's tourism related because one of the complaints has been that road between Spencer's Bridge and Cash Creek. And I'll tell you, it is almost completely paved. They're setting a record time there, and that's a beautiful road. So that's, those little pieces of the puzzle are helpful and stuff because I know when I go on a good road, it actually becomes part of my conversation. So there you go. I mean, that's a little piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And you can't ring me on it because it does. I tied it to tourism.
Tourism and roads definitely.
Yeah, okay,
are,
thank you very much.
Yes.
So there you go.
So I'll interject.
Okay.
I like to do that, listening to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
When you think your community, I've been watching the different social media channels for, let's say Whistler, Sun Peaks, Kamloops. They have so much to promote. And I know we do too. They're hidden gems, but what would that tourism
Model look like?
Yeah, for here.
For here.
Yeah.
And it looks like what Gold Country has done forever. It's like the videos that they did
Yes.
in the past couple of years where they had Ashcroft's was amazing.
Yep.
And it truly is. It's like a walking tour of the community. A walking tour of Lillooet is amazing. Too, they have a winery and a brewery.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're not there.
Yeah. And like Sally says, Gold Country in the last 2 years has really amped up. Actually, under Sally's leadership, they started going, and a little bit under mine, but mostly under Sally's, they really started the social media push. And like the Spencer's Bridge video, I mean, everybody in Spencer's Bridge saw it and shared it. So that's, I think, the thing you got to get sort of to that sharing of social media that highlights, because they were really well put together. So you do need the expertise to put together a video like that. I mean, you're not going to go into your kitchen and be someone like me and figure out how to do that. But they've done some incredible things, Gold Country, and it was catching on. We had some of that stuff that was getting, tens of thousands of hits, and stuff. For us, that's big.
That was pre-COVID.
That was pre-COVID too. That's true.
And COVID knocked the heck out of a lot of things.
That's true too. We got to keep that in mind for our area. She's got a good point.
I think too, you have to look at where the world is at right now. We are in a world where social influencers are the people that will be promoting different areas in the community. So like families, I've watched families that will promote different tourism spots.
Yeah, doing even just blogging or video blogging.
Yeah, they do. Or TikToks.
Yeah.
And then they promote
their trip.
So even if Gold Country started reaching out to maybe some of the TikTokers,
Yeah,
because they're the real salespeople, right?
Well, and
sales.
or developing them.
yeah,
I'm not sure you have to be a social, because I'm ignorant of these things,
Right.
an influencer to do a good job. It's trying to build that. Online?
Yeah. Online you have to have an established following to be in your news feed. So if someone, we were to build up somebody here who didn't have a following,
It still wouldn't get
it's
anywhere.
going to take a really long time. So, you do have to, or you have to pay a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right, to get those viewpoints.
But we have such an opportunity right now in our corridor because the COVID hit, and then we had the fires and the floods. So you've got stories rebuilding stories, even going back to the Elephant Hill fire, where now the things are starting to turn green along the hillsides that were black years ago and stuff like that. The rebirth of Mother Earth, you know, that's a story, the rebirth of Mother Earth from the Elephant Hill fire. The Highway 1 and Highway 8, those are huge stories because they're totally different. There's a railroad track on Highway 1, you know, and stuff that you have to wait a kilometer behind when the train's coming. The Highway 8 river, the beautiful Nickel River, is moved 100 meters to the south, and the Kettle Valley Railway, an incredible piece of history, has been wiped out. There's tragedy, but there's also triumph, you know, in that. So there's this tragedy and triumph happening, and there's this change of landscape also happening. So yes, say you've been on Highway 8 or you've been on Highway 1. You certainly haven't been on this Highway 8. You certainly haven't been on this Highway 1. So people that maybe don't want to take the Coke. Now, these are tourists from Vancouver, Victoria, and stuff like that. Maybe come check it out that way. That's going to help everybody. There are stories there because what has happened in the last few years, those are stories. Like I said, tragedy to triumph, hopefully stories, but we're in the process. That's when the story's being told.
I think for me, as being the person that's trying to tell these stories, it's been really hard. And I'm going on now year 4. I don't think I'm that much of a newbie here. It's really hard to get people to share. And then because you've got trauma with a lot of these issues, it's hard to get people to talk. And then for me, I'm like, where do I draw the line to like get people to and that's why we need people like you guys to be able to like, come on,
it'll be fun.
Apparently
that's the worst thing I can say. You know, come on, it'll be fun. Somebody's going to get in trouble.
You know, no, with the COVID and then the fires and the flood in our area, I think have impacted probably anywhere in the province. You could say we're in the top 3, if not the top one, because of, I mean, everybody had the COVID, I get that, but you know, people don't realize in the fires and floods how badly people were misplaced, driving 10 hours to just be able to have a sleeping bag and a roof over your head because you're being evacuated and stuff. Some people are being evacuated for over a year. Some people still not back home. You know, I mean, this is 2021 we're talking about, and it's 2023, and June 30th, you know, was the anniversary of the second anniversary of Lytton.
Will be.
But this...
Well, it could be already done.
I'm just going to throw it out there. The first 4 of our shows are edited, so we're sort of struggling with the time frame a little bit. But that being said, we're going to try to go live after this if we're not canceled.
Yes.
So there we go. So if we're canceled, we won't go live at all. But so if we seem a little out of time frame and Dana doesn't get it edited, it's not Dana's fault. It's all ours. Right?
Like we've been out of sync ever before.
Yeah, well, out of sync is, you know, sync.
There's a skip in the record.
Everything but the kitchen out of sync.
Okay.
There you go.
So our world is different than it was before January 2000. 2020, sorry.
And here's to making all these lemons we get thrown is not only making a jug of lemonade, but some people have to make a vat of lemonade, and that's what we have to do. And because there is positivity, you know, like I don't know if I said it before, but we got a beach out of the flood, which we never had before. A beach is a big thing. The only person that could give us a beach for Christmas was Mother Nature, and she did it. So there you go. So that's a real plus. And we hang out on that beach all the time, by the way. And we got this huge fire pit about the size of this table with huge rocks. Thank you, Nick, my son-in-law, and because I could not have carried any of those rocks. And we've had some guitars and good times at that fire pit already.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. So the beach is our big jug of lemonade for the farm.
So back to tourism.
Oh, back to tourism. Tourism. Here we go.
Tourism. A lot of problems with the existing model.
Yeah.
And one of them is that the frontline workers make minimum wage. And if you pay somebody minimum wage, what you're doing is telling them that you can be replaced in 20 minutes.
Yeah. And
you have no value.
Yeah. And the thing is, you make a minimum wage, you not only have no value, but then, you know, you don't have the opportunity to say to, you know, have any benefits, buy a house. I mean, it does limit you. I would say if you're into tourism and getting one of those minimum wage jobs, you're immediately almost looking for another job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. So, that's not a good place to be with your frontline people or foot soldiers. We don't want them to be looking for another job. And, by the way, you work for this Highland Valley Copper. What's going on up there? Any work up there? No. You want them to be passionate about tourism.
Yeah. And I have to admit I wasn't because I needed a better job.
Yep.
All
exactly.
the time.
Yeah.
And you leave your front end like that,
Yep.
and that's all there is to it.
And we talked about the minimum wage tourism people. What about the volunteer tourism people that don't make anything? There's a lot of those people too. And that takes time, Say you're working a full-time job and you volunteer in the tourism sector. I mean, then you're working 60 hours a week and stuff. And there are people out there like that,
Yes.
It needs to be a more attractive industry financially. And because you're probably never going to get any benefits unless the whole business model is structured differently. And I don't see that happening.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I can remember trying to sign up for a union and being discouraged by other women on the job. I don't need that. My husband has a union. It's like, oh, good for you.
yeah, good for you. Gee whiz.
I don't need that.
Yeah. It's tough. You actually do depend a lot on your locally elected officials and your provincial MLAs and MPs and stuff like that to drive the tourism bus. And, I'm sort of with Sally. That bus crashes a lot.
It certainly does. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you get benefits with these tourism jobs?
No,
No,
absolutely not.
zero.
That's a huge thing.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You don't have dental, you don't have extended medical, you don't have life insurance, hopefully you have work safe.
Yeah.
If you don't, there's a huge problem.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And look at servers. Yeah, most of them make minimum wage, but guess what? You figure in their tips, they're still making $25 an hour. So, because it's not really minimum wage. They don't get tips. They're minimum wage. That's what they take home.
Well, I see a lot of places now have a tip pool.
Okay.
And tips go into a jar and are split up at the end of the shift type thing. Don't really like that.
Yeah.
I know that when I cooked in restaurants,
Yeah.
I got paid more than waitresses.
Right. Yeah.
And when I was washing dishes in a restaurant, I was training to be a cook.
Okay.
But when I was a waitress, I worked hard for those tips.
Yeah.
They were mine.
But I can ring you because that's off topic.
Yeah, I know it. Okay.
See, no, that's okay. Because I'll go off topic and review myself before I say this, because I'm going to go off topic on that, and I'm going to follow up on that. So where our little business is, we do a 50-50 because we have two employees.
Yep.
We have a cook and a server, 50-50 right down the middle. And if a third one comes in, we split it 3 ways, and that's the way we do it. So I'm sure every business does it a little bit differently and stuff like that. If you were a cook, you can complain about that model, because I think most business models are like the one you said. The cook usually gets more of a lion's share of the tips and stuff.
Well, no. My wage was higher.
Oh.
My wage was higher. I
Okay.
got away from minimum wage, and I would be.
With your wage being a cook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because they don't want amateurs feeding
I'm gonna get
people.
Dana to edit this out because our cook doesn't get paid anymore and stuff like that. So
No, that was in the olden days.
we need to chop that.
It was in the olden
days. Okay.
Yeah.
Hear that? Olden days. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so on that subject that I rang myself at, anyways, back to tourism and stuff like that. And so anyways, I'm no longer really involved in tourism except through, the community and stuff like that. And I'm very much involved. And I think that's what we need to know. You know how I said I was going to say something before the show and stuff like that, and I didn't say it because I forgot because I'm getting old. Well, this is what I was going to say. The song that came on was from the 70s, I think. And it was by a group called 10 Years After, who I saw in concert in the Seattle Coliseum way back in the day. And first line of that song is, I even wrote it down because I knew I'd forget it, but it's pretty easy. It's tax the rich, feed the poor until there are no rich no more. I'd love to change the world, but I don't know what to do. The name of the song is I'd Love to Change the World, and I'd encourage you to listen to that because you know what? Being into tourism and economic development, going to being a meeting geek before I was elected in 2011, and Sally can go a little bit that because she was elected in 2001 or something. And anyways, but I thought I knew what to do when Paul says you got to run for office, and I got into office, and it's not that easy. And so, not getting elected is enabled me. You can't change the world, but you can change a person. You can change a small community and stuff like that. Because I don't know what to do to change the world. So that song, when it resonated with me when I was coming home and stuff like that, because even our local officials, like our directors and stuff like that, Sally, what did you make when you first got elected in 2001? What was how much were you getting paid?
It was 2002, and we made about $7,000 a year.
$7,000 a year to change the world.
Yeah.
And you didn't do it.
And
Jeez.
I know. I don't know what
When
I
I got
was
elected,
thinking.
do you know how much of a raise I got when I got elected in
How
2011?
much?
I was making $18,000
Yes.
a year, and I didn't change the world either.
We actually doubled our wage, or nearly doubled our wage.
Holy
where we
moly.
roasted.
Jeez.
Oh man,
If-
it was a terrible, terrible thing.
If us filthy rich politicians cannot
Yes.
change the world, who can?
Yes.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah. No,
Jeez.
I was in real trouble when I
Man.
voted to double that wage.
But at least we got all those benefits.
Oh, you're so silly.
Okay. Well,
yes.
that being said, I'm sorry, I had to segue into that because I forgot about it. I really wanted to.
Yeah.
I'd love to change the world 10 years after. Listen, and it's a great song. Great song. Anyways, Alvin Lee, lead singer. He was like a little fly. I was sitting about 600 rows back and stuff like that. So one of those concerts where you can hear everything and it's really loud, but you can't see anything
Yeah.
because it's such a big
Make you
venue.
wonder why you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and hey, are we out of tourism conversation? You got any more to go on that and stuff like that?
I think a point that needs to be made
Okay.
is that we used to have resorts
Yeah.
on our lakes.
Yeah.
And people have sold those properties
Okay.
because they could make more by selling it than they could by running a resort.
Oh, wow.
And so there are no public resorts on Green Lake.
Are you kidding?
One of them is bought by a family and they run a private resort.
Wow.
It's lovely. It's got the best beach on the lake and
Wow.
everything. But if you don't happen to be related, you're not going there.
That's so sad. I didn't know that.
And all of our resorts are gone.
Whoa.
And so it's very, very sad.
It is.
Public campgrounds are filled up immediately.
Yeah.
And camping out at Green Lake, which is the warmest lake in the Caribbean.
Yep. My kids struggle. They're campers, and you know, camping is about sort of being out in nature, sort of maybe a little bit alone or so. That just doesn't happen anymore.
Well,
And, I mean, it's really
government
hard.
campgrounds, they're worse than you're right beside somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
My kids wanted to take me for my planting was May 20th, and I woke up to being 70 years old on May 21st, and my kids said, "Hey, we're going to Blue Earth, Dad." I hadn't been to Blue Earth Lake, which are a couple of really cool lakes, Little and Big Blue Earth, and probably an hour drive away in the back hills and stuff like that. I says, "Yeah, but it's holiday weekend, it's going to be crowded," because nobody ever used to go to Blue Earth when I first started going in the 90s and stuff. You could go up there anytime, you'd be the only ones up there. But now when you go up there, there's only like 3 camping spots on Big and Little Blue Earth and stuff like that. So there's no place to even go. So we went up there. Surprisingly, there was only 2 people there. There was 1 camping spot left. The other guy that was on Big Blue Earth left. We took over his camping spot immediately, so we had the whole lake. So it can happen. But what I'm saying is, it really is a struggle to camp and sort of be in the wilderness by yourself. Is pretty much you're not going to go to one of the published camping sites. Let's put it that
the
way.
forestry campsites aren't bad.
You aren't bad.
Yeah, and they're quite nice.
Yeah, I got to get out more.
They're
Yeah.
more of what I think of as a campground than everybody lining up, living in a
Yeah.
apartment building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and we're not really off the tourism subject because locally, when people are coming to the interior, some people come here to fish and hunt, and that entails camping because that's your home for that time you're here.
So ever been out to Crown Lake?
Nope.
Lovely.
Is it?
Absolutely
See,
lovely.
there you go. I need to get out more.
Yeah.
And I vowed to do that. That's why I went to Blue Earth. Dad, how long has it been? And I said, I had to admit, it'd been over 10 years since I've been to Blue Earth, and it's in my backyard. You know, I tell you, being a farmer ain't as much fun as I thought it might be. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
anyways, okay. Well, where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here?
Can I ask you a quick question before we go from
Certainly.
here?
20 minutes.
We since I brought up 10 years after and being there and stuff like that, and you're a little bit younger than me. What was the all-time favorite live concert you went to?
I've never been to a live concert.
You've never been? Okay,
No.
that's very
I have.
interesting. Wow.
I just never thought that being surrounded by that many people was in my favorite.
Wow. Well, I was gonna say, because I really got one, and so if you want to ask me what my favorite
Okay,
one
what's
was,
your favorite one?
I went shortly before he passed to a rain-soaked, rain-drenched Seattle rain.
Oh, you got to
pouring-
see Jimi Hendrix.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Pouring down rain in the
Yeah,
Sixth
yeah.
Stadium. Seattle boy, Jimi Hendrix, dreadlocks just dripping wet. Everybody's thinking, you know,
He's going to electrocute himself
Everybody-
with his guitar.
they were. He's still playing with his teeth behind his back, and you know the reefer-filled tents, and everybody had a plastic bag over their head. It was just brutal and stuff like that. But it was just
Wow.
it was a den of smoke and rain and Jimi Hendrix, and he never missed a beat and stuff
Oh,
like
wow.
that. So
That's something.
it was a great thing to see. You should see a live concert. You should put it on your bucket list.
It's just not in my comfort zone.
But
The only time that I like to be in a large crowd is if I have a clipboard and a job to do.
there's some really good reserved seating concerts, so it's not your envision. You just go, like going to the theater. So if anybody ever came to something like that, would you go to that? Probably not. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. No, that's cool. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering, curious. Well, would you come to our campfire when Paulette's playing the guitar?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
That's sort of a
Yeah.
concert. So
That's
there
sort
you
of a
go.
concert, yeah.
Anyways, okay. Well, you're welcome
Well,
anytime.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Yeah.
So, let's move on to where we moving on to.
Well, not tourism, but
Okay.
we've had a stressful situation in 70 Mile House.
Okay.
We have a weed that grows in wetlands,
Okay.
and when that weed is stressed, it produces cyanide.
Oh wow.
And my neighbor has lost 2 horses in the past week.
Whoa.
And the more we get out, the word out about it, people are going, I had 2 donkeys die down by my
Wow.
slough. And I had 2 beef cattle down by my swamp. Things like that. People are putting it together.
Whoa.
We're going to need some education about this plant.
No kidding.
It isn't an invasive species. It's a natural plant that grows in wetlands.
Gee whiz.
And
So the animals are actually eating the plant
Yeah.
then, and then jeez.
yeah, and it is very, very scary. And we're going to be working with the provincial government and Ag BC,
Jeez.
the Cattlemen's Association and Horse Council BC.
Wow.
This is very, very scary.
That is scary when you start losing animals and stuff like that. I mean, the good news is, I guess it's not an invasive species. It's been here, so maybe, but obviously, it's been a really weird year because, you have this plant. Now, this is the first time it's raised its ugly head, right?
No, it's been around. If it isn't stressed, it doesn't send out the cyanide. To see, this spring was really late.
Yes.
We went from snowbanks to hot.
Okay.
And that plant had to grow really, really fast. And it was
Okay.
stressed and it sent out cyanide.
I'm putting on my farmer's hat here. That makes total sense. It's so stressed because look at our farm, and I'm talking to other farmers and stuff like that. And the weather to have no spring, to go from winter basically to summer and not have that spring season. Think about it. We didn't really have a spring. There was not those mild temperatures leading into summer. We just got hot, and I have cherries are they're bare to minimum. No, I looked at the plum trees yesterday. There's no plums. There's very few. When year do I have very few apricots? I usually have way too many apricots. It's just I lost all my old peach trees. Lost them all.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're gone. They're old, but I've never lost them all. I've lost one or here because they're 40 years old. They all are gone this year. So I think that stress is a really real thing, and I think that goes back to Mother Nature and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The weather we've had this year has been different. I've been farming for 34 years now, so I am very mindful of the weather, and I have never seen a year like this.
No.
Never. So I'm a little worried. We got a lot of Colorado potato beetle on the farm. We didn't have much last year. So, and anyways, and then again, we don't have some other pests that we usually have. So anyways, it's a weird farming year for sure. So I think that stress thing theory is probably exactly what happened. Yeah.
And I've watched you struggle with different kind of flies and different kind of beetles, and it's not an easy life.
Yeah, and Mother Nature one year, and the only time I've ever had it, the flea beetle's another beautiful one, but the beet leaf hopper, it's microscopic, you can't even see it. So Paulette and I this year, this was probably, it had to be 15 years ago, and we were freaking out because our tomatoes were dying from the bottom up. And when I talk tomatoes, I'm talking 5,000 tomato plants, and that's our main crop. And they just kept dying and dying and dying, and we're going, what's going on? And we thought it was a virus and stuff. We literally got our pickup truck down there. We pulled every flipping tomato plant and took it to the dump. We pulled them out because we didn't want the virus to get to our crop. We pulled them all out, and I just couldn't figure it out. And then I asked Ed, no, it wasn't Ed, it was Marlon, if he'd ever had this little bug that I finally caught it. And I got it under a microscope, and I looked at it, and then I did my Google thing, and I found out it was this beet leaf hopper thing, and it was microscopic. And I asked Marlon, did you ever have a beet leaf hopper? And he said, yes. About 5 years ago, I had so many, they parted. And I says, how do you see them? He says, there were so many when you drove the tractor, you could actually see them part. That's how many they were. And he said, they're really nasty. And what this beet leaf hopper does is it secretes on the tomato plants as it goes to the weeds. It doesn't even like tomato plants. The secretion goes into the root system and kills it. We didn't have to pull any of the plants. My point is, I got to knock on wood. Vinyl's close enough because that's the only time it's ever happened. And what happened, the winds in California brought that damn little thing up to Spence's Bridge, and Paul and I pulled all our tomatoes and stuff that one time and stuff. But that's what Mother Nature did that year. It just, that beet leaf hopper, and that's been the worst pest we've ever had, but it was only there for 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's just so much that can go wrong.
There is. Yeah. And farming, if you don't agree with Mother Nature, or she's going to upset you in any way, shape, or form, I don't care what it is about. If you get upset about the weather, don't become a farmer. If you get upset about the rain, don't become a farmer. If you get upset about cold, don't become. As long as you're okay with whatever Mother Nature's going to deliver you, and we are. We've had some pretty bad. We had a hat trick of disasters with the fires and the floods and all this stuff. But you know what? Like I said, she's also done some good things.
Oh yes.
So,
yeah. Yes.
So, anyways, I think we're down to we each get 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And we got to spin the record to see who gets 5 minutes and first.
Yeah.
And so you get to call it again, and
let's go B again.
Gonna go B again. Try to get a B out of this, and one. Oh, that's a good spin. And it's an A. I get to go first. Okay, we got 2 A's today. A. Feel a little Canadian today, don't we? With 2 A's today. Okay, well. I brought props today and stuff like that. Being a farmer, that's a pretty good segue. We were just talking about being a farmer. I've never had any problems with my zucchini. They seem to be indestructible, to say the least, and stuff like that. And the first thing you pick on a farm around here usually is zucchini. There it is, and we're picking them. Basically, and you've got the green zucchini, which is sort of dark, and you've got they call golden zucchinis. They have different names and stuff, but let's just go with this. This zucchini, the green zucchini, when you pick like this, you do not put this on a dinner table and stuff. This makes chocolate zucchini loaf, zucchini bread, and it probably makes, I don't know, this would make, I don't know, 18 loaves of zucchini bread.
Oh, no, that's just 1 cup, 2 cup, 3, 4. That's only 2 cakes.
Okay, it's only going to make, I think it'll make more than 2. But anyways, you don't use a lot. But I'll go with Sally, maybe single digits. But this will make a few loaves of zucchini bread or zucchini loaf and stuff like this. And you get the big ones this size too. But I brought these for example. So this size of a green one is perfect because that's how it looks. And that's what goes on the dinner table, as does this one. Paulette made some incredible zucchini, golden zucchini the other night, and we spiced that up. She got it just the right amount of pepper on there, and I think garlic and things like that, and we had it for dinner. Really nice. This is the size you want to pick your zucchini when you want it at the dinner table. And what you don't want to do is plant too many zucchini plants, because then you just start giving them away.
I like to slice this up real thin
Okay.
and make zucchini lasagna.
Ooh,
Instead of noodles.
nice. I like that. I hadn't thought of that. The only thing I can think of was zucchini, because I'm not a big fan of zucchini. I sort of call it zucchini and cucumbers. I know people love them, but I gotta admit, even though I farm them and grow them and stuff like that, they sort of taste like water in solid form to me. I don't get much flavor out of them and stuff like that. So anyways, I'll eat them if they're spiced up right and stuff like that, but not my favorites and stuff. The only thing so we were looking, because we had so much zucchini, okay, let's do something creative at the packing house. I gotta get in the dinner table at the restaurant and stuff like that. And the only thing I could come up with when I Googled was succotash, I think it was, or something. Succotash. Do you know what that is?
Isn't that corn and
I don't know.
beans,
Doesn't
lima beans?
I don't know if I'd write it on a chalkboard for a meal though. Succotash. It doesn't really sound like something I'd
I
want.
thought it was an expression that you
Want to
And
eat.
I think it's like corn and beans and,
Okay.
you know,
Well, send in your zucchini recipes for crying
or,
out
or,
loud, man.
or your succotash
Or your
recipe.
succotash recipes and stuff like that, and we'll maybe get it on the menu at the packing house, or at least have something to eat at the farm and things like that. So I think, I want to bring in, sort of, and so support these local farmers is my point and things like that. A lot of work goes into that. We start usually, in March and go right through the, from hothouse to harvest. And the cherries are coming next, and cucumbers we're already picking in a limited quantity and stuff like that. Go to your farmer's market or one of the farmers, local farmers, and support them, because that's the small businesses needs that local support for sure. And I think I'm probably out of my 5 minutes. Or nope.
1 minute.
I got 1 whole minute.
One more
So anyways, so I'm thinking if it's I may have, maybe not the next show, but as things are ripening on the farm, I'm going to sort of bring them in here so they know what they get. Not at our farm. Our farms are ways to go to. It's on Highway 8. But if you're in that area, you should certainly come there. Monkey in the Gardens down the road, Hilltops on Highway 1. But you got also farms here. But you also got farmers markets. So that our product goes there, and guess what? That helps us make a little bit of an income. Because a farmer is not in it for a bank account. They're in it for a lifestyle. And it is a great lifestyle. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
Okay.
You're on.
The Ashcroft
Yeah.
Farmers Market, they're doing a really good job.
All right. Oh, the Ashcroft Farmers Market. What day do they go on?
Sunday morning.
Sunday
Oh, yeah.
mornings.
Mornings from 10 to 2.
Is this their first year doing it, or I think
so.
it's their first year doing it, and so there's a couple farmers markets and yard sales and all that kind of good stuff. That supports locals. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I too am a farmer.
I know.
I
know.
have 13 baby turkeys in my shed, just happily staying warm and eating and drinking, and before you know it, there'll be 13 really big turkeys.
Yes, they will.
I also have rabbits.
Yes, I know about the rabbits.
Because I live on the top of the plateau where we can't grow zucchinis and
Yes.
tomatoes.
Yes, we have the perfect
So,
climate.
yeah, and so my climate is perfect for raising rabbits.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Did you want to tell the rabbit story in your last 5 minutes, or you want to stick with farming?
I think I could tell the rabbit story.
One of my favorite stories is Sally at the UBCM convention. And where were we? Vancouver?
We were in Victoria.
Victoria that time, and I'll let Sally take it from there. But this was a great moment. We have microphones and everything, and people can get up and speak to resolutions, and there's a lot of them. And a resolution came up, and Sally, you take it from there.
There was a resolution from, I believe, the city of Richmond, and the preamble to the resolution was good. It was about people buying pet rabbits for their children at Easter, and then setting them free because they were too cute.
Yeah,
and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it was a good preamble.
It was.
But the resolution said, therefore, be it resolved that the BC government should make it illegal to sell unsterilized rabbits in British Columbia. It's like, no, you can't do that. And everybody's getting up and talking, and they were pro. Everybody thinks this is a good idea.
Right.
So I go to the con mic.
You did. You went to that con mic.
And I stood there and I said, the preamble is really, really good, but if there is a rabbit industry in British Columbia. There are kids raising rabbits for 4-H. There are show rabbits. There are meat rabbits. And I explained that this resolution should say that you can't, if rabbits are sold in pet stores, they should be sterilized, except for they're baby bunnies. They're way too young to get sterilized.
Right.
And it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I said, and besides that, my rabbits aren't that cute, but they are delicious.
She made the news with that comment.
I did.
The news reporters flocked to her and said, "Oh my gosh, you said,
Oh.
yeah."
My mother-in-law was so proud.
It went from a really cozy, cuddly rabbit resolution to
oh my God, Sally talked.
I eat my rabbits.
Yes,
That's
and
sort of
they're
how I
delicious.
translated, and they are delicious. Yeah.
But I have to tell you, out of that,
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of new rabbit customers.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you
People
go.
phoning me up asking if they can buy rabbits.
that was a highlight. Yeah.
Yeah. They aren't. Meat rabbits are kind of dull-looking rabbits.
Yeah.
But I had every spring I take the rabbits out of their hutches and I steam clean all their hutches and get everything ready. I was doing that last spring and I only had 3 rabbits. So I was like, oh my, well, I put them all in one cage on the ground so they could eat some grass, and I'm cleaning all this and I turn around, they're all gone.
Oh shit.
It's like, well, that's not good. One of them came right over and I picked her up and put her in the cage.
Yeah.
And, 2 are missing.
Well,
okay. Well,
yeah.
one got killed the first night
Oh no.
because,
Yeah.
wild animals like rabbit
Yeah.
as
They
well
do.
as me. And the other one is still loose. She lives in the yard. She frequently goes over to the neighbors, crosses the road.
It's a free range rabbit.
Free range rabbit.
Oh, okay.
She hangs out. We feed her. We
Did you
water
name her or something? No.
She's called Aunt.
Okay, Aunt.
Auntie.
Okay. Because you're probably not going to be on. Hey, leads me to the question. The obvious question is stuff. Can I get my Thanksgiving turkey from you next year? Because are those kind of turkeys?
That's what kind of turkeys they are.
You
They're
eat your turkey?
Big, broad.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
And we're closing her up. And
Okay, on that Thanksgiving note.
on Thanksgiving note, thank you so much for paying attention to us today. And if we made you happy or made you angry, please let us know at hello@valleytv.ca.
And may your zucchinis be with you or not. Possibly. But we will see you sooner than later with a new crop and a new conversation.
Okay.
Thank you very much.